always elevated. It's hollow vibe. Catch me rolling on wire with my hollow vibe. We always medicated. It's hollow vibe. We always elevated. It's hollow vibe. Catch me rolling on wire with my hollow vibe. Hollow vibe. Check hollow vibe. My name is DJ Navi. My name is DJ Navi. This is Hollow Vibes. This is Hollow Vibes. You have never seen it like this.
Thank you guys for coming on the show. The Hollow Vibes Show, powered by Jiffy Doctor, the home of the $49 recommendation.
Yeah.
The rest of December, she is doing 2 for 1, so you and a buddy can get a recommendation or renewal for that $49. Veterans and pediatric patients are free for the rest of the month as well. We are also sponsored by Tulsa County Tours. If you need to book a party or any type of event in smoke-friendly transportation, hit OK, and she can take care of you whether you're in Tulsa or OKC. So tonight we have Mr. Chili Mac, one of our favorites in the business. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
We are doing great. Oh,
Man,
So-
I'm over here flabbergasted about this game, bro.
So we're
Whoa.
watching the Monday Night Football game, okay?
Whoa.
So, the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers. Catastrophic 3 weeks. Oh my gosh.
But they getting dealt by the
By the
Bengals, though.
This is true.
Man. Who? Somebody said Craig's voice is no good. Who the hell is Craig?
That's Craig.
I don't know. I don't know him as no Craig. So y'all gotta say a name that I'm gonna know.
That is
'Cause
straight up Corey then.
yeah,
What's
When
up,
we see
Ian?
and that came about when we first started.
Jamie.
got you,
Somebody was live and we were watching their live,
got you.
and the person's spouse called me Craig, and they were like, his name's
She told
not
me
Craig,
my
it's
kids
Corey.
look just like Craig, and I'm like, who the fuck is Craig?
Well,
And she
damn.
was like,
Well,
and
shout
it's
out to
like-
all the Craigs in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to the Craigs.
that's how that came about, and it just like straight up stuck.
Got you.
But now it's kind of like I kind of when we get a new one at some point.
You go back and forth, Craig, Corey.
I respond to it.
He responds to either.
Okay.
I respond to
I
it.
mean,
so.
you know, hey, you gotta respect the audience. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be the cold part about it. Like, sometimes I hated my brand manager be like, yo, you can't do that. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to respond to this. You have to respond to that. And I really be like, nah. 'Cause I do
How's
not
the
like
lion?
doing all that.
What's
But,
up,
you know,
Randy?
at the end of the day, gotta get done. So,
Ian,
you know.
what's up, brother? Ian's one of our buddies from England.
Would you say Mac Attack is back? He didn't. He wasn't gone nowhere. He was still on the scene, just incognito. I was thinking about doing a little comic, little animated series, Incognito, but we'll have to talk about that one day.
That's her fucking
My
password,
hotspot
bro.
on my phone.
Man,
That's what the
see,
little name is.
tell you, man, the universe is out there. It's out there.
Jamie had to get on it one day. She was like, what the fuck?
Amy Brown, what's up? Richard K. Hill, Rick Thompson.
Yeah,
up,
shout out
Barbara?
to everybody
Becky,
out
Ian,
there.
Randy
Yeah.
K, Barbara.
What's up, girl? That's my homie, Randy K. That's my homie.
Oh, yeah,
So she was like,
wonderful people.
I'm gonna put you on blast, Randy. She hit me up today. She was like, yo, if you want to go ahead and just sprinkle some magical planetary mojo on me today, I won't even be mad at you. So I did that for you. I got you. So, yeah.
I can't wait to check out all this stuff going on. It's really, really cool. Mary, what's going on? So, okay. You got some stuff going on. So a couple things you wanted to talk about.
Oh well, I mean, it's kind of been a minute. I took a little bit of time off the scene, and a lot of that was strategic. Just had a lot of things that was going on, and a lot of moves that was in play, and so it was just a good business move. But then we had the whole recall situation, and it kind of made what was a strategic plan look like something that it wasn't. Is this a kid friendly show or like, because I say motherfucker.
No.
Okay.
We're not
Oh,
kid
no.
friendly. We're
Okay.
adult content.
Okay.
Yeah, you
'Cause
good.
but I say it a lot though. Like they gonna be motherfuckers. We gonna be motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be a motherfucker. Like that's just my thing. Okay.
Oh,
But,
sure, some shit. I'm down.
I mean, well, no, not really.
No,
but just
I
just
did
kind of
that.
like
That's my
setting the record straight, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Sounds
it was
good. What's
like
up, brother?
it was like there was a lot of people that really like showed their true colors, and I appreciate them for that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I much rather know who only fuck with me in situations versus who really fuck with me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of that exposed itself, and I was really happy. I saw people like, I'm a businessman,
Right.
and if you're a businessman and we're competitors, I expect you to capitalize off of my downfall or whatever it may be, and you should expect me to do the same, but do it tactfully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be respectful about it, especially when people don't know. Like, we didn't, for legal reasons, we couldn't talk about, what happened, how things played out, who did what at that time, you know what I mean? And so people took that as, their opportunity to kind of shit on us and what we were, and at the end of the day, it was like some shit happened in August where we bought some distillate, right? And they gave us fraudulent testing. And, at that particular time, if I'm a processor and I buy distillate from you, I can call the lab, but they only going to give me so much information. And then there's no real way of verifying what you gave me is what this testing say, unless I test it and then compare the two tests.
Correct.
And, long story short, how the law was written at that time, that wasn't a mandatory thing. And testing is expensive. I don't know if y'all know, you know what I mean? But when you talking about, $350 a test, or, if you do them in bulk, maybe $300, and you got, 50 SKUs, 100 SKUs,
Right.
you talking about 16 grand, you know what I mean? Like, and so when you have to do that consistently, like, you're doing what you're obligated to do. There's no need to do the extra shit because that's supposed to already have been done and protected within the law. So, I mean, it turned into a investigation thing, and then it kind of uncovered that a lot of other people was getting this fraudulent bad shit where they were having to, pull product off of the market. Now, some of them people didn't say nothing about it. You know what I mean? They were notified, they pulled their product, they stayed silent about that. We just didn't want to be those type of people. You know what I mean? And well, I mean, it's like at the end of the day, when we found out, it was probably like 5:00 in the evening. So I called our insurance carrier, I then called our lawyer, and then our lawyer contacted OMA. You know what I mean? So by 7:00, within a 2-hour period from us being notified, OMA knew everything was done. By the time we released our statement, we had already had majority of the product back in house. So at that point, it was just a formalities thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason that they offer things like product liability insurance. There's a reason why they offer things like recall insurance. But you have to have those protocols. And so it just opened up a whole different, kind of feel, kind of look. You know what I mean? But people really showed their ass, and thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for showing your ass, because now when they have to double back, they have to try and clean that up. You know what I mean? Because normally, and this is where people that don't have a business mind, this is why they won't have success in business. They think one hurdle is supposed to end you. They think one hurdle is supposed to make you fall. If that was the case, Tylenol would fall every single year because they have multiple recalls every single year. We got recalls on milk. We get recalls on cars. We get recalls on vacuum cleaners. We get, you know what I mean? Like that's just a part. It's a part of business, And so if you're not prepared to hit them kind of hurdles, you don't deserve to be in this game. So just want to give all those people those shout outs. Like, thank you. Like, that really, really pushed us. That motivated us, and ultimately it brought us business, because now people are like, hey, if something go bad, even if it costs them, we gonna know about it. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, the patient is protected, the businesses are protected. It builds that trust, and it just shows other people how to handle shit.
Because that's what I thought, like, especially when I first saw it come out, because that wasn't like a MMA documentary.
Right.
Like, holy shit. And then the fucking, a week later,
Right.
Yeah, it took them a
the
while.
fucking MMA fucking letter comes out.
So
that's fucking like, damn, that's fucking.
This is how that played out, though. They contacted us back and said, okay, what can we do to help? Because it was one of those things where it was straightforward what had happened. It was straightforward who did what. And at that point, it's like, okay, how do we mitigate this? How do we make sure all of this product is back in house or accounted for or whatever? And so they sent us these sheets, and it was like upstream, downstream, how many were produced, how many went out, where did they go to, and it's like we had this information.
Yeah.
So it was really just compiling the information and returning these data sheets, so they didn't have to do no work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was like oh, well, here you go, and then it's like, okay, all they have to do at that point is verify. They don't have to send the people out to make sure that this that, like, or even get people to talk about it or whatever. It was like, okay, well, here's this. This is what we produce. This is what goes where, and so it was easily traceable, to the effect that when they did put their statement out, their statement said that they were assisting us in communication.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like mandatory recall. It wasn't like blah 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 blah. Like when some shit is wrong, they put you on blast. You know what I mean? But it was like, we are assisting them in the communication. Blah 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 blah. And it is what it was. You know.
Jamie says she missed your fresh bakes.
Hey, so I don't know if you saw my post, but Fresh Bakes is coming back. We got some clarity. So, Fresh Bake is coming back. Ultimately, for us, it's just making sure that we're compliant. And when you're trying to get information from them or get them to give clarity to something as a business owner, like, we deserve that. You know what I mean? Like, they get $20 million a year and they only have like 80 employees. We should be able to get some answers, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and that's one big piece. But the new director, Dr. Williams, I like her. She knows where she wants to take things. She just needs that guidance from people in the industry, people that are patients, and actually like hear from those people on the ground versus all of the so-called experts, because it don't always be good.
Let's see.
What do you say? Hashtag only Mr. Max. All right, I see you, Eric.
Randy said you guys handled it with class and transparency. It turned into something that educated patients.
Yeah, and ultimately it identified those gray areas in the program and those gray areas in the law, so they're able to actually like they're no longer understand, they're able to overstand, because now it's happened. You know what I mean? Our attorney, he had been talking about these gray areas and how there was these loopholes and people would be switching out product and bad shit was gonna happen to good people, and then it happens, and then it's like, well, do you want to listen now? You know what I mean?
Right.
So for him, you know, it really, you know, put his mission in a good space. You know, so you know, I'm all for it. You know, I believe that, you know, you can't be a boss until you take a loss. You know what I mean? And ultimately, what that means is, if you don't know how to fail, you'll never know how to succeed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you do not know how to fail, you may win, but you won't know how to succeed because you don't know what the opposite end of that is like. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
Yes. And that's very
just
fucking-
words I live by, man.
Call that fucking being humble, man. Fucking for real.
Yeah.
Always. Always, because we ain't gotta fucking be doing this shit. And we bust your ass to fucking. I mean, the shit that just to make this shit look like this. Fucking YouTube, late nights,
Yeah.
trying to manage, you know, teaching the kids and taking care of the house, plus learning and putting the shit together at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That.
It's a game,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You just gotta learn to play your game within it. Like, that's the most important part. The rules are the rules. They don't change. You know what I mean? How you play the game, how I play the game, how she play the game, how y'all play the game. That's all on you. You know what I mean? We watching football right now. If they run it in for a touchdown, it's 6 points. If they throw it for a touchdown, it's 6 points. If they intercept it and run it back for a touchdown, it's 6 points. But regardless, a touchdown is six fucking points. How you get it is on you. Like, so always get it.
So what's the G-Pen deal you got? I saw that flashing up.
Yeah. So, oh man, bro, this one has been super hard to like keep under wraps. You know what I mean? Because we've had this locked in since the end of September.
Damn.
And what ended up happening was the recall happened October 6th. So that kind of like put a pause on everything while we went into recovery mode and PR mode. And so it just, you know, stretched out to where we are now. But that was one of the hardest things to keep under wraps. I talked to, you know, certain people. I talked to you guys about it and a few other people who, you know, I had some interest in some different areas. But basically how that plays out is G-Pen or Grinco Science, they manufacture, you know, some nice products. This is actually one of them. This is my G-Pen Roam. It's like the G-Pen version of a Puffco. And so it's a smart rig. Everything is internal. All the glass is internal, so I can throw it in my back pocket. I can do low temp, I can do high temp, and everything in between. A little LCD on the side, so when the dab ready, it give you the thumbs up, and you know what I mean. Yeah, you know, it got a little self-cleaning mode to it and all that good stuff. And I was a fan of their concentrate pen called the Nova, and it's basically like the Puffco Plus, the pen version of it. And I don't know, it was just something about how it was built and the flavor that I was still able to get from that, and so I became a fan of it. And somebody made a proposition. I don't know if they didn't think I could do it, or if they was, you know, I don't know how it played out, but they was like, yeah, if you can make the deal happen, we can make the deal happen. And I was like, oh, is this a bluff call? Like, you know, so I pulled some things together and talked to a few people, and it happens. So they're very, very, very particular who they do partnerships with. You know, they partnered with like Cookies and Be Real and, you know, a few brands in a couple other states, but a lot of like higher end, you know, brands and stuff. And so here in Oklahoma, most likely we'll launch ours first, and then Cookies will launch theirs sometime in the near future. But you know, they're it's different. You know what I mean? Like people are, you know, they chase the vapor or you know they chase the cloud and stuff like that. But it's not always about the vapor. It's not always about you know the cloud. Sometimes it's about the cleanliness of that particular hit. You know, from that piece. Yeah,
I want smooth.
Yeah.
Something that's gonna go and just nice into my lungs. I don't feel it. But I still can fucking taste it, and it's you know you don't lose that turkey taste like that's. I'm a fucking taste hoe, man. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a turf hoe, man. I love that shit, bro. Like I gotta taste that shit.
But yeah,
So-
gonna have 5. Gonna launch with 5 strains, and then every quarter we'll launch an additional 4-pack with it. So we'll start with the Blues Clues, the Apple Mac, a wedding cake, and Northern Lights. And a super lemon haze, I believe.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And the Apple Mac and the Blues Clues is in-house genetics. So every time we drop a 4-pack, it'll be 1 or 2 in-house strains along with 2 other traditional or known
That's
strains.
cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yup.
Oh yeah.
What's the deets on Behind the Greens? Okay, so damn, that was somebody else asked about that up there. Okay, so this is how this is played out. We start having crazy COVID spikes, and our team, our film crew, travels to Oklahoma from South Texas. And it was basically one of those things where it just kind of started to get a little out of control. We had postponed the last 3 shooting days. We were trying to get them done before Thanksgiving, but then it just kind of got a little haywire, and so we finally got back on the same page. We had 3 shoot days left, and then we'll go to editing. So I mean, we're still on schedule for that late January, early February.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. But y'all are out here one more day.
Yeah.
One more day, right? That's gonna be sick. When are y'all gonna? Are you gonna release information like where you guys will be shooting? Or is that kind of just
So on that last shoot day, the people who will be filming, they'll go ahead and announce it out if it's something like that. And we can talk about it off camera, but until we actually like schedule it out, I don't want to give nobody no unnecessary pub. Because sometimes it don't go that way, and then people like, oh well, he said.
Especially this shit, it fucking will change so fast. Especially with COVID and shit, like this shit changed real fast.
We say that Apple Mac is fire. Hey, thank you, I appreciate it.
Kay said you're gonna have to do a Chili Mac tour.
A chili? What's a
Tulsa
Chili
Can
Mac
tour.
tour? Oh, on the bus.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Hey, so we have to be okay. I'm very COVID conscious, and I know there are some people who are watching this right now that are mad that I don't or I didn't make it to their events or something like that. But for me, it's like I'm selective.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in a controlled environment around people who I know are, immunocompromised or whatever, because they give a shit. They're going to care. You know what I mean? They're going to take the precautions and they're going to do. So I'm way safer around them than I am in some random environment with other people, even if they're wearing masks type of a thing.
Yes.
And so, I just can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing the super spreader events. And it is what it is. Like, I would love to have gone to the Cowboy Cup. There are a lot of people who participated in that I support, but I have to support you from a distance because they aren't going to protect themselves. So I have to protect myself from them.
I wanted to go too, but we didn't.
Yeah, and it's like that with everything. You know what I mean? Cowboy Cup, OG Fest, everything is too crowded. It's loose. You got people who still think it's a game. And I'm not one of those people. So, it ain't personal. Well, actually, it is personal. Shit, yeah, it is personal because I'm I'm concerned with my health. I have to protect
Correct.
other people.
Correct.
You know.
Jerry's on. What's up, Jerry from Silverleaf?
Hey, what's goody?
Robin, what's going on, brother?
Hippie giraffe.
Baby Giraffe. 11 o'clock. Check him out.
When is the caramel challenge? I don't know.
Yes, that's gonna be.
That one tripped me out.
That's
Like,
gonna
I wanna
be.
be a
That's
judge.
just gonna be awesome.
so look, I saw it right, and I was like, oh, she wanted to challenge the caramel champ. I'm thinking, who the hell is the caramel champ? Like, I didn't even know it was a contest. So I'm like, hey, well, who the caramel champ? And she was like, you motherfucker. And I was like, oh, no, like, I gotta earn that
shit.
one. Like, let me earn
I
that.
saw that. I saw
Yes,
that.
but
Yeah.
I thought that was hella cool. Tiffany's super
That
cool.
is-
I love Tiffany.
She is a very wonderful soul.
Shout out to Tiffany. I'm down though. Whenever they want to have it, we are definitely down to make that one happen.
Judge on that.
Mm-hmm.
Gots to be a judge on that, because just y'all two alone would be.
Bruce Banner. Hey, that's what I'm on right now. Look, y'all can't
What's
see
everybody
it,
else
but
smoking
it's in there. That Bruce Banner
This
is
is Bruce
in
Banner.
there. I'm finna
That's
be
Bruce
on
Banner.
that thing right now.
We all have fucking Bruce Banner.
That's my all-purpose strain right there,
Yeah.
boy.
What's up, Nicole?
Ooh, what they
What's up,
talking
Jeremy?
about?
What's up, brother?
Hi, Nicole. Yo, so he gave you this beautiful, beautiful intro shout out. I was very proud to be here and be like, that's my friend. Like, for real. I was like, yeah, okay. Jiffy Docs, get it. Yeah. What up, Jeremy?
Yes, she is very, very sweet lady.
Yeah,
And
one of the sweetest I know. It's a lot of fake ones though. Like they'll fake you
No,
out.
she's
They
helped
will
us
hit
out a
you
lot.
with the 21 fake. But she is like different.
She's a real
Very
one.
genuine. Yeah.
But
I like her.
I mean, she's sweet as shit. But
She don't
I
take
mean,
no
don't-
shit either
don't
though.
shame
She
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
for
yeah.
damn sure. And so,
She does,
no, much respect. Oh, and I did want to remember that if you go by the green room in OKC, you can get 10% off if you mention Hilo Vibes. If you're in Lawton, you go to Gangsters of Glass or Med Dispensary and mention Hilo Vibes. You also get 10% off there.
Hey, get it.
Backwoods
Backwoods
Medical.
Medical and Hinton. Mention Hilo
Oh, I
Vibes.
can't
You get
remember the
10%
rest.
off. And we gotta go. I told you I need that list.
I'm forgetting
God damn it,
one.
that's
I know I'm
right.
forgetting one. Sorry to whoever we're forgetting.
Yep. Work on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you guys for doing that for us. Because we put out a post on it and like it was immediate, and that's the type of love that we like and we support and we back for sure. And
LA
Ian
Kush
said
Cake
LA
Runs.
Kush Cake Runs.
Ooh,
That sounds good.
get it.
10% off at Med Dispensary. Yes, like it.
That's Eddie, right? He ain't Med Dispensary Eddie?
Mm-mm.
No?
Not anymore.
Oh.
Barbara and Raymond.
I'll be working so much, man. I'll be out
Oh,
of the loop.
Randy. Mention how
But I know he
she
got
gets
that,
10% off.
that Scientist,
The
Mad
mad scientist.
Mm.
Yeah. I've been hearing some decent things about that. We may have to have a chocolate little challenge too. You know. But see, that's kind of like, that would be like a shameless plug, because we will be dropping the chocolate and toffee line in the second quarter of this year. So
Chocolate and toffee.
yeah, and I mean, like, I've been playing with chocolate for a few years, and just like with the caramel, it was like, I won't put it out until it's right, until I feel like it's right. Like my granola products, I'm not putting them out until I feel like they're right. And it's like, it's not about who do it 1st. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
a lot of people do shit first, okay, but who's gonna do it right? Who's gonna do it consistent? You know what I mean? And like, that's where we strive. You know what I mean? And it's like, every single caramel is gonna be the same every single time, without fail. Like,
it's
not
probably
gonna
the
happen.
G-Pen room.
They wanna
Yeah,
know.
G-
They wanna know
G-Pen
what
Rome.
you were smoking on there.
All right, that's it. Again. This is so G-Pen gonna have to start paying me after a little while, but this is the G-Pen Rome. It is their version of a portable vaporizer, smart rig, whatever you want to call it. Nice little cool LCD screen on the side here. You can go 400 all the way to 800. Has its own little self-cleaning, and it has internal glass. So I can literally throw this in my back pocket and not worry about my glass ever breaking.
Your automatic shut off on it.
Automatic shut off. It's magnetic, so you put it on something, it won't. Yeah, it's not going. You know what I mean?
That's
so like,
cool.
it has a lot of little super cool features. It's easy to clean. Like, you know what I mean? You literally just pull it out, separate the two pieces. You can clean the entire airway. Like, it's dope. My Puffco hasn't left the house since I started using the Rome. Like, and that's not even a plug because we doing the carts and the batteries with them. Like, it's legit a device that I use every fucking day. I got devices. I choose this one. You know what I mean? And it's like that with the pen. I don't use my Puffco Plus. I use the G Pen Nova. They make this dry herb vaporizer too. That's pretty dope.
See, and with me having asthma and the allergies like not stopping,
Mm-hmm.
there's just so much weed I can smoke before it's just like,
Yeah.
you know, either I'm fucking doing a breathing treatment or it's my fucking inhaler.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's only been like this since fucking summer.
She
But
said
now I
sponsored
need a
by
good-
I'm Sold. It's for fancy motherfuckers, Brandy crazy. Nah, it's less than, it's definitely less than a Puffco price wise. I mean, I think they're like, I think the highest I've seen them is like 210.
Okay.
But I mean, they're around that 175, 185 price point.
Okay.
The Connect though, that is the shit. That's probably the next wave of smart technology. It's so basically, you know how your rig has a banger, right?
Yes.
Well, it's a banger, but it's electric, and you have your bucket, and you can, like, it's crazy, but you can adjust the temperatures and all this shit. You literally just click this thing, and there's no torch, there's no wires, none of that, and I mean, it's like full heavyweight dabs, like you will
So
fuck
comparable
yourself
to
up.
like the Rio.
Yeah, and it's, you know, again, like a all internal piece, and they make this thing called a Connect tank, so you can have, you know, a tank of like resin, or you know what I mean, like, you know, sauce or distillate or whatever in this tank, that you just take the attachment off the bucket attachment off and put the tank on, and yeah, so it's like no mess type.
That's
Crazy. Like,
shit they coming out
definitely
with, man.
some new wave shit.
The shit they fucking coming out with these days.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I'm just say I should buy one of those for Christmas. Man, let me tell y'all something. Christmas round my joint, shorter than a midget on his knees right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, talking about hurt my girt, you know. But you know, it's a lot go into that, man. You know, like, recall recovery ain't no joke. 'Cause it's not like, it ain't like a traditional business. You know what I mean? Where I can write this off, I can write that off, I can write this off, I can claim this as a loss. Like, I can only claim so much of that. The rest of it, I literally have to eat. yeah, just because of the industry that we in.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We don't have those federal protections.
Yes. Oh
So,
my gosh.
you know, a lot of that is biting the bullet.
Say
and-
creeping on come up.
Yep. So, but you know, like I said, I'm a firm believer that all of the struggles you go through is what builds you and position you, and how you deal with that struggle, how you come out of that struggle. Every single time that we've ever had any type of issue, any type of situation where people was on extra hate or whatever, something 20 times greater always came out of those situations.
Yeah.
Simply because of how we dealt with it. You know what I mean? So
You know what? And we were just fucking talking about the same shit today.
Mhm.
She was just saying that shit, like, about, we were just doing some other shit, and she was just like, see, it came back on us.
Mhm.
He was like, we did that, and it just came back on us.
Mhm.
And he's like, it's gonna keep doing it. And I was like, wow.
and that's
we were
just
just talking about
and
that
that's
shit
just
today.
that's just
That's
how it
crazy.
is.
How the
And
universe works.
Yeah.
they'll tell you, they will literally tell you straight
Yeah,
up,
she makes
hey,
faces.
I saw that you guys were going through blah 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 blah. Amazing how you handled that. We were looking for someone that could do blah blah blah, and now it's just like, did that even happen? You know what I mean? And then you got other people like, oh, well, I can't believe that people are still dealing with them, or I can't believe this, or I can't believe that. Well, you don't do anything, so you can't believe it. You right. You right. You can't. You aren't putting yourself in a position to be capable of believing it because you don't do anything but critique other people's shit. And if I quit every time somebody told us to quit, if I listened to everybody that said I was wasting my life, if I listened, like, you know what I mean? All of that noise, as I call it, like, where would I be? With them. And I can't do that. You know what I mean? I can't.
Goddamn.
What you smoking on?
Bro. Okay.
It just looks scrumptious. I'm
This is-
just peeking.
Kidney punch from
Kidney punch.
Leaf logic.
Leaf Logic.
Kidney
That's
punch.
solventless
It's
there.
so good.
Solventless. Rousing.
Mm-hmm.
This is some Paragon.
I like this on the bottom though.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
The label.
like that.
Uh-huh.
I
They
like
changed
that.
their label.
Yeah.
This
Don't
is
even
the
need
old.
box, it'll
Okay.
give you the same
That's the old
information.
label.
Batch number and everything.
They just changed it up a little bit. It's a lot nicer now.
Okay.
It's the same thing that's on the box.
And this one too.
Yeah, that's
But
dope.
I don't like the way that one's all shiny.
That holographic stuff. Yeah, I mean, people, you know, it's one of them things that
I just like
you
that.
learn it through trial and error. You know, people still trying to
Thanks,
find
Ian.
find themselves, find their brand identity, stuff like
This
that.
one just. It's
Ian,
perfect.
man, it's really
Yeah.
great. It's awesome to have you come on too.
Because
like,
it
every
takes away
single
from the
one.
design itself.
Mhm.
Just to reach
Yeah,
somebody,
it
you know,
does.
especially that far away, you know, you enjoy our shows, it really means a lot. So I really appreciate it.
Shout out to Ian
Yeah, he's in England.
in England. Okay. What is like? Okay, what is say cannabis laws like in England?
Mm-hmm.
Cause like right now, I'm a say we national Mac, but I'm trying to be continental Mac in like 2 years, and by that 5-year mark, I'm trying to be global Mac. So, what them laws like over there where you at, sir? Because I mean, I'm trying to branch my wings. You know what I'm saying?
He said
Cover
it's-
some ground.
He said it's 3:37 a.m.
Illegal.
in
He said illegal. What about hemp? Like, is CBD a thing over there? So speaking of
Ian is
CBD,
breaking the law.
like he said,
We all did at one point. A lot of us.
well, speaking of CBD,
Oh, you got a top advantage.
man, that's a play we finna be pushing really, really hard in like our neighboring states. Because I mean, you know, you got Texas right now
Mississippi.
on the edge
On
of
Yes.
legalization. They're surrounded by states.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are now surrounded by states that are legal.
Yep.
That forces them, and when you start looking at where these you know, where the revenue is coming from, it's the border towns.
You do this
You know
shit
what I
in
mean?
fucking Texas?
That's the play,
That's gonna
man.
be fucking huge.
That's the play. Like
Huge.
when a motherfucker said Mars, we was not bullshitting, and I mean people
Yes.
think, you know, oh, they just talk that shit. No, we walk that shit, like for real, and it's not a cocky thing. It's like when we say it, we've done it. So we're talking about what we did. We're not talking about what we're doing, what we're about to do. You know what I mean? And a lot of people get caught up in talking about what they're about to do or what they want to do or what they're gonna do, and that's not how you set an example. You know what I mean? And you know, people will be mad at your success because of their failures, and their failures have nothing to do with you. You don't even know these people most of the time. I don't know these people. A lot of these people that be mad or you know just randomly on a hater move or be on Reddit talking crazy or something like that. Like I don't know these people. I've never had an interaction with these people. They may have seen me. I may have seen them, but I don't know them for them to feel how they feel. You know, and they literally be mad about nothing. I just found out my brother was still mad about some shit that happened 20 years ago, and I ain't even know. I just found out from my other brother that my brother was mad for 20 years about some shit I ain't even know. That he had no right or reason to even be mad about. Like, that's what I mean. Like, people will be mad at you for any fucking thing. Anything, as long as it helps to justify how they feel. And I mean, I'm cool with that, but I'm not gonna play that game and condone that shit. You know, just we stay focused. Like we the same core group of people doing the same thing. Just, and I mean, like, man.
I mean, fuck. I mean, how you gonna fucking change the stigma and you fucking stick knives in motherfuckers?
Yeah, I want to say something, but I know Eric is watching, so I'm not gonna say it. But, you know, like, cause this is like the stab in the heart, like. Right, this the Chucky doll. You know what I mean? We just like it's crazy because literally people will not, take that time to find out who they are. They won't take that time to try different things. They get fixated on one way or one process or one whatever, and like that's the only way that this can ever happen or could ever work. And it's just like you put yourself in all these boxes and you just create all of these hurdles, and you spend more time trying to get out of your way than you do moving forward, simply because you refuse to do the shit the right way. Like everybody's looking for the shortcut, everybody's looking for the gray area, and it's just like, wait, what? You're actually saying that you suggest that you do something that's gray because you don't want to do the work. You might as well hide from the money. If you ain't ready to do the work, hide from the money. Because that shit is never going to find you. It's never going to find you. And people hate that. Like, but I just keep it real. It just is what it is. Like, you either love me or you hate me. It's no in between. Oh no, he's tolerable. No, you either like me or you don't. And if you like me, it's usually because I'm not gonna bullshit you. You know what I mean? It is. These Bengals is whooping that ass, bruh.
Like, yeah, this is gonna be a monumental meltdown of the Steelers.
They just scored again. This is crazy.
So Randy said, "I absolutely love your unwavering support for the community." Now her saying that, I did want to say, touch base a little bit for those that couldn't go to the Capitol.
Okay.
What were you talking about? What was your message for that one?
Okay, so I got a email and asked if I would be interested in testifying at the Capitol. So I'm like, the fuck? Who they want me to snitch on? What the fuck y'all doing? What you mean?
Testify.
Like, right? So
in trouble.
So I talked to my lawyer. I'm like, what? He's like, no, it's a hearing. It's about cannabis. Blah 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 blah. And you have a good angle because you're a part of almost every industry of the every aspect of the industry. We grow, we process, we're a dispensary, we do wholesale distribution, we're patients. You know what I mean? So we're across this whole spectrum, except for everything but laboratories, waste management, and research facilities. Everything else we do. So I guess one of the big issues was they haven't been getting feedback from people on the ground in the game. They've been getting all the experts telling them we need additional testing, and all the people saying, oh, we need to raise these fees, and all the people saying, oh, well, we need to divert this to that. And even some of the people that they had at the hearing, some of it wasn't even related to medical cannabis. Like, one person works in hemp, and he was basically pitching a product that he patented, a pesticide that he's trying to, I don't know if he was trying to get it be the only exclusive pesticide or what, or hempicide. I'm not sure what that angle was, but it had no relation to the hearing. So when I found out they wanted me to talk about it, I put out a post and just let people know, hey, I'm gonna be speaking at the Capitol. This is what it's about. What are your pain points? And I had to let people know in advance, like, if you don't give a motherfucker a disclaimer, they get beside themselves sometimes. So, I had to be like, look, I'm not gonna be able to address everybody's question, and y'all have to be okay with that. But what I will do is take the consensus questions, and those are the things that I'll take forward, and those will be, my talking points. And a lot of the public feedback had to do with testing, which is my main issue. Some of the other things, was around transportation. That got vetoed. So, I mean, there's not really much I can do from that perspective, because both chambers of Congress said okay. The House voted for it, the Senate voted for it, the governor vetoed it. So there's me saying or preaching anything to them about that is just preaching to the choir, because they already was for that part. So I had to identify what those real talking points were. But while I was listening, I heard a lot of unnecessary shit. Dr. Williams, I gave her props, right? But she went off information that someone had given her, that 2 plants yield 10 pounds. I mean, that's going to be relative to the growing environment, the genetics, what is being fed, how it's being fed. A lot of things will go into that factor if 2 plants can yield 10 pounds. Correct. Because most indoor plants, depending on how you're growing, is somewhere between 1/4 pound to a pound. Like, you're within that range. And we don't really do it off of per plant. We do it off of per light, because the lights are, a square footage, either a 4x4 or 5x5. And we do how many pounds we get per light. We average 1.5 pounds per light with our technique, with our genetics, yada, 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 yada. So, I mean, that's going to vary. But them not having that information and giving the senators and representatives bad information, they're making law based off of this. So they're like, oh, well, they said blah, 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 blah. And so we had to correct that, And then there was, like the lab guy. He says, oh, we're not testing for this, and we're not testing. No, that's not what he said. He said we need more testing. He said we should be testing for additional pesticides, but never named a pesticide that we should test for. He said we need to test for additional microbes and heavy metals, but never named any additional microbes or heavy metals that we should test for. And so when I spoke to them, my counter to that was, I hear that, but as a person who spent $16,000 to test, to have to go to another lab because the results I got back from this lab I wasn't confident in, because this is what my margin of error has been for 2 years. And so now I have to go to a third lab to verify that the second lab gave me good stuff. So now we talking 40 grand in testing. And you want to tell me I need to test for more stuff? Yeah. But then when I broke down to them that the medical marijuana testing laws and thresholds are higher than the FDA. So that means I can have totally clean distillate, go buy a store-bought product, and because the FDA's threshold is higher, my product will fail testing because they're testing at a different threshold that's higher than the FDA. So just making them aware that people aren't using contaminated shit always. That's not always how that plays out. People who use things like chili powders and stuff like that, they're gonna fail for contaminants because those things are stone ground. You know what I mean? So that dust and that residual that will make somebody's stuff fail. So that's why you don't see a lot of chili related products out on the market. You know what I mean? Like there's a rhyme and a reason for a lot of shit that no one has ever put on their radar. So here it was someone that is a grower, and we're you know the city slicker and the rural farmer because our farm is in the country.
Right.
Our processing is in the city, and we distribute all across the state, and we're patients. So we see the whole thing, and so people were upset that they weren't the one that got the offer or you know the opportunity, and it was like I didn't ask for that shit. I got an email and I accepted it. And when I accepted, I went to the public for their input because I always said I'm not gonna be the dude to be doing the closed door meetings and all that. If I'm a part of it, y'all gonna know about it. And I'm gonna tell y'all what these motherfuckers said when I get done. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I meant that, you know. And so it just is what it is.
Man, I know everybody fucking appreciates that you fucking went out of your way definitely to do that for us. I really wish I could have went. I really did wish I could have went up there.
It was an experience, you know what I mean? It really was. And I mean, there are some, you know, really, you know, people, they give a lot of the credit to John Eccles and Fed Getter. But there are other representatives that are out when people are organizing and they're looking at, you know, creating trade commissions and different things like that. There are representatives that are coming out and interacting with these people. You know what I mean? Like Dr. Williams has made herself accessible. Travis Kirkpatrick has made himself accessible. There's a lot of movement because of how it's being approached now. And one of the things that I don't like, but I understand, was the lack of communication. But when these people are getting emails and they're coming from these people who represent different groups and they're threatening and they're this and they're that or they're this and they're that, a lot of times some of that shit have to clear legal before they can even really like decide if they even want to respond to it. Is it worth responding to that? What are the ramifications if I do respond to that? What if someone, you know, takes what I'm saying out of context and now I'm speaking on behalf of the whole organization? And a lot of these other people, because they don't operate on that level, they don't get it. They don't understand. And to them, they just want to bully you into submitting to their will when what they want is actually detrimental to the program in itself. You know what I mean? So now that there's been a different approach and people, you know, are putting together, you know, trade organizations and things like that, and they're approaching it how lobbyists would approach it in like an industry, you're starting to see, you know, them come back to the table and, you know, want to have those conversations. So
because now you're starting to get their attention. That's
yeah.
It all. You just gotta be able to talk. Sit down and talk.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in just it has to be, and I've said this from day one. Anything that's ever gonna be successful for our program has to have two facets. It has to have industry and it has to have community. And the industry has to understand the community's needs, and the community has to understand the industry's regulations. And once those two things are done, then and only then can you have a collective voice. Because now you know what you need to do on this end to help them, and they know what they need to do on this end to help you, and you can move together as a unit. What we've been doing is trying to allow the community to govern the program, and that's never how any regardless of what people want to say, that's not how anything operates. You know what I mean? Like a nonprofit, a community action group, any of those things, like They may be a watchdog. They may be a checks and balance, but they don't tell you how you should and have to do this and how, like that's what the legislation is for. They're the ones that set those guidelines, so they're trying to be the micromanagers, and it doesn't work like that. And then that turns the industry off from wanting to work with different groups because you trying to, you know what I mean? And it's just that chain reaction. And ultimately, what happens is that allows all of these outside companies to come in, get set up. They already know, and they know because they went state to state doing the exact same thing. Because if anybody ever looked at the trends, they all happen the same way. We fighting amongst each other, trying to figure out who runs shit, allow them to come in, get set up, get their distribution network set up, get all of their things in play, and then when it's time to really, really make the moves, they're the ones that get the juice because they've approached it from a lobbyist perspective in a way that is familiar to the legislators. People want to change the game. You don't change the game. You play yours within it. That's it.
That's ooh.
Yeah.
Amy said, "Did you ever even imagine you would be speaking in there one day?"
No, man. Look, man. I said a long time ago, I'm not that politician type. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm too rough around the edges. Like, I mean, you know, to use the word motherfucker in the presence of, you know, representatives and directors, and it not be taken the wrong way, like that's an art, right?
Yes.
But to be a politician, that's something way different. And so, like, you know, I never imagined, you know, any of that. Like going to the Capitol, rallying, stuff like that, cool. But like being there and actually like representing an industry
Being
and
a
representing
voice.
people and like being a voice.
Yes.
Yeah, I never imagined that one for sure.
Yeah. I mean that's crazy. There's so many great things you're doing and for so many things, opportunities coming your way. Man.
Yeah, got a couple of like community things, you know, where, and I mean a lot of this stuff we do silently. People have no idea. Like, you know, every month we go and we pick a specific day. Well, it's the same day every month, but we go and feed the homeless and like literally go there and cook it and serve it and all, you know what I mean? We're working on a program with the Epilepsy Foundation to like take a specific product and put a certain percentage of those proceeds to give back to that. We're looking to do working on a lot of different little, because I mean at the end of the day, you know, we can't just take from the community. I mean, we look at it from the angle that we provide a lot of different products for the people, right? From, you know, your higher end caramel to your inexpensive cereal treat. So we kind of cover that spectrum of like people's interest and different things like that. So we're giving back in that aspect, but I mean, I'm a father. You know what I mean? And I know, you know, how it is to have to deal with different conditions and, you know, illnesses and things like that. So that like it means something, you know what I mean, to be able to help these people. And it's like when you start working with different parents and their kids all have different situations and different illnesses and things like that, like it almost becomes a mission at a certain point. And a lot of it you don't even talk about. Like there are literally kids and, you know, young adults that we help all the time that people don't know unless that parent says something, puts a testimonial up or something like that. But a lot of times, you know, we still in the Bible Belt, so people are still reserved a little bit. They don't want to put it out there that they have their kids on CBD or they have their kids on THC or whatever. A lot of people don't want to put out there that, you know, I may have a quadriplegic son that doesn't really sleep or doesn't do this, and, you know, we're full-time caregivers, so how can we, you know, use this to help benefit? Like they don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. but that don't mean that it don't happen and that help isn't there. So this is more of a direct way of us acknowledging publicly that we do give back. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I'm finna get my damn right.
Oh man.
What they got? They got some questions.
Yeah.
Oh man, we can talk about it.
They're talking about just they're listening to respond to what you're saying. Jamie said the industry is still in its infancy. It will begin to evolve and grow more and more.
Yeah.
It's a process.
People want to rush it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like let's be realistic for a minute, right? Oklahoma before cannabis, right? Oklahoma was like 43rd in economic growth. 43rd. Education, we sit around 45. Health and Human Services, we sit around 47. So we don't really excel at a whole lot of shit. Like just being real, right? Like nationally,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So you want to be different about this? No, motherfucker. We've been different about all this shit, which is how we are where we at. Let this shit be what it's gonna be, and just sit back and enjoy the ride. If you're not in the business, just enjoy the ride.
You already done this motherfucker.
Just enjoy the fucking ride,
You
please.
It's all his money.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn.
I mean, and people be, let's talk about this one real quick.
Okay.
Patience over profit, right? And, well, I like to talk about it because I'm a firm believer that if you don't talk about things,
Yeah.
you can't expect people to, one, understand where you're coming from, but two, make the necessary adjustments when they're looking at it from the wrong perspective, right? Patience over profit can mean so many different things to so many different people. It doesn't mean that you don't make a profit. It means that you put the patient first.
Exactly.
And it's like with the recall, right? We had a public notice out within 24 hours because we put the patient first. We didn't even have to do the whole motherfucking announcement, none of that. We could have did like a lot of these other companies do, keep it quiet, work with OMA, as long as you comply, they don't blast, and just move forward. But because we put the patient first, we put that patient over profit because some of that was product that had been distributed. Some of that was product that was about to be distributed. Well, most of it was product that was about to be distributed, but 80% of it ended up being a loss. A loss on supplies, a loss on distillate, a loss on labor, a loss on packaging, a loss on labels. You know what I mean? Like so that's putting a patient over profit.
Oh yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
When you take a product from one line, cereal treats specifically, like when people say we don't listen to the patients, or when people say the industry isn't listening to the patients, people are talking about affordability, right? So if we left the cereal treats on the Mr. Mac line because of how and where everything else falls within the price spectrum, it wouldn't benefit the brand. It would be damaging to the brand to have this particular product at an extremely low price. But if you take that exact same product, you don't change the size of it, you don't change the milligram of it, you actually make a variation of it. So you're expanding that, and you put it on its own brand in packaging that's no frills, that now costs you a third of what your normal packaging costs. Now you can reduce that cost, because that's where a lot of the costs come into play is when you're looking at packaging and different things like that. So if you can reduce that cost, I can reduce that cost for wholesale, which means in turn the dispensary can reduce that cost at retail.
True.
That's patient over profit. That is patient over profit. That don't mean people ain't supposed to take care of their families. That don't mean people ain't supposed to make money. You know what I mean? So it's a mindset thing. And if people don't talk about it, what they're doing is the wrong people have the microphone for too long. and they don't know how to articulate what they're thinking. They have the thought there, but they don't know how to get it out. And if you have the thought and you don't know how to get it out, what they're getting is incomplete. You know what I mean? But when you can break it down like I'm saying I because I'm the one that's here, but we literally took products that were on a brand and moving successfully at the price point that they were at, repurposed it to make it budget friendly.
Yeah.
That's patience over profit.
Yeah.
But people won't give you those props. They'll say you're trying to do too much when you actually doing it for the people. Your competitor's gonna say you're doing too much.
Yeah.
The patient's gonna appreciate you for it, but they're not gonna understand that that's what you actually did for them. You know what I mean? So I lost profit for you that I didn't have to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
For damn sure.
it's all perspective, man. If people really look at this for what it is and how it is, it would be way different. It would be way different.
God.
So
Have you
different.
Ever fucking right. This, yeah, definitely a wonderful fucking lives.
I'm trying to teach lessons, man. So what I used to do, people always be like, well, what did you do before this? So I worked in entertainment, right? And I did artist development. But along with that, I had these development classes where I would identify a core number of people. So I think my first class, I identified 10 people that were either entertainers, entrepreneurs, worked in a particular industry that supported entertainment, which is why I'm always big about helping ancillary businesses and things like that, because without them, this shit don't work. We need all of these people that make these things here, that make these microphones here, that make these dab tools, that make, like, a lot of people make things that have everything to do with cannabis but have nothing to do with cannabis at the same time. So it was really taking them from the mindset that they were in and putting them into a business mindset. If you approach everything in business with a business mindset, nothing will really ever surprise you. There's nothing that you will ever not be prepared for. Even things that you're not prepared for, because you've mentally detached that emotion from that. That's the biggest fucking thing, is detaching the emotion. If people can't detach the emotion, they'll never be able to do this over here in business. And those that can't detach the emotion, they don't stay in the CEO or the COO position very long. They establish the company, they build the team around them, and they step away as president. They step away as founder, because they're not able to detach that emotion that ultimately will take them down, and they know that. So they put the right people in the right place. So that's what the class was about, and it's a 52-week class, and at the end of that year, well, at the beginning of that year, you kind of set a goal, like an IDP, on where you're trying to get to. So like we talked, right? We were talking about the show and like finding the identity and different things like that. In order to know where you want to be, you got to kind of see what else is out there, right? You got to kind of see what you like, but more importantly, what you don't like, what you don't want to duplicate, what you don't want, like, oh my God, that's just terrible, right? But you don't know who you are until you've identified all the shit that you're not. That's the hardest part of the homework. That's the hardest part of the lesson, because it forces you to put yourself in other people's seat. It forces you to put yourself in the seat of the viewer instead of the person that's dictating to the viewer. You know what I mean? And a lot of times that's hard for people to do.
It is.
So it's really about, we call it the breaking period, right? And that's exactly what it is. You at the end of that breaking period, you'll know if this is for you or not. And for you is whatever that is. I ain't saying I'm no expert in anything or nothing, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I can help you develop the ability to decipher what you are or what you're not by way of this breaking period. And it's all about detaching emotion.
Right.
That's it. That's it. Like, that's it. No more, no less, no secrets. Like, that's a lot of people's secret to success in business is simply being able to detach the emotion. That's it. How many deals get lost because somebody get hot-headed and say something? How many people have semi-interest in a product or a service or a company, and you know something minute may happen and that just steers that the wrong way? An emotion. Oh, well, it didn't feel right. That's an emotion. A true businessman is going to look at the data. They're going to look at the numbers. They're going to look at the trends. They're going to look at the market, and they're going to make an assessment. And that assessment is going to be based off of this data. And if they can't make an assessment off of this data, they keep moving until they find what they're looking for, right?
Yes.
And you, as the person who's presenting or pitching, you're in a privileged position because you can, if they give you constructive criticism or advice, you have the opportunity to make those corrections and maybe represent. But if you fuck it off with an emotion, you don't even get that.
No.
So you don't even know where you was fucking up. You don't even know what was wrong because you let that emotion get in the way from finding out. I don't know how many times like a deal or a opportunity, a relationship was built on asking a question, getting denied, and asking a question. Get denied on a pitch. If there was one thing that could be changed, that would even put you on the fence, what would that one thing be? You asking them that question, how they gonna receive that is, he's looking for it. He wants it. Do I give it to him or do I not? Assholes ain't gonna give it to you. But the people who may have had an interest in what you were talking about, you may just have been off or maybe pointed in the wrong direction, just need a little bit of tweaks. They're gonna give you that. And when you come back to them with that correction, they look at it a totally different way. People want you to accept their bullshit. They want you to accept their first draft shit as the final. That's the final paper right there. You know what I mean? And we supposed to suck that shit up and be like, oh yeah, you're the best thing since sliced bread. And really, it's just bullshit on paper.
Right.
You know, so it's a lot. You know, it's a lot. But that separation is the biggest thing.
Man, definitely get it.
Get my dab in.
Oh shit.
A relationship was built on asking a question to pitch. Exactly, like that's how I know Amy Brown. Yeah, like it was built on asking a question.
Yeah.
A lot of relationships. Me and Randy K. I met Randy K at a flower craft event. Rest in peace, flower craft. But I met her at a flower craft event in the very, very beginning. And she asked me a question, and that's where our friendship started, based on that question. Yeah, based on a question. My partner, Eric, our relationship, he wasn't even my partner at that point. But our partnership and our friendship was based on a question. Can I see your business plan? I'm interested in the industry. I'm looking to do something. I had already left Oklahoma and was in Washington. And I had came home for my birthday. I was trying to enjoy myself, spend time with my family. You know, my cousin's like, oh man, I want you to meet my friend, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, not really interested. It's like, no, I mean, he just trying to, you know, get some insight on the industry. He's really interested. I think I think it might be a good fit. I'm just like, I don't really know. And it was just like, come on. I was just like, all right. I was like, all right, fuck it. You know what I mean? We'll do it. And then he asked me, we talked, and he asked me a question. Can I see your business plan? And I was like, okay. Well, I'm like, well, shit. He ain't copying it, or, you know, he just want to read through it. He's somebody that's, you know, interested in the industry. You know, what harm could it do? But he asked me a question. do you really need this or is it this? And then when he told me the reason why it was this, I said, oh, well, he's a thinker. And then it changed the
Your
whole perspective, and it changed the whole way that conversation went forward. And I left Oklahoma with a pending partner. you know what I mean? Just on perspective in that question. So, like, never be afraid to ask fucking questions, man. The worst somebody can tell you is fuck off. Like, real shit. Like, that's the worst somebody's gonna tell you. Fuck off. They may say it no. They may say get out of my face. They may say it a lot, but ultimately it's fuck off, right?
Right.
You shot your shot and you missed. Okay.
Right.
Don't stop shooting. Could you imagine if Michael Jordan stopped shooting the first time he missed a free throw?
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? Like, what? That don't even sound right saying,
Oh,
right?
shit. There goes another one.
Here goes another one. This is insane. This is insane. Wow. We're going to hit this at RIP for the motherfucking Pittsburgh Steelers, because man, they put the Browns in a very, very, very good position.
I mean, they won the head-to-head.
Yeah.
Plus, now they're going to have same record, aren't they?
No, Browns is 10-4. And so they'll end up being 11-3.
Just based
Yeah.
off.
But based on how the rest of the conference is lined out, I mean, they got the wild card spot for sure.
Right on.
Yeah. So that's dope. Shout out to the Browns, man. We was talking about how they haven't won a damn championship since it was, before it became the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Like,
that would be a good feel-good story.
it's the brain and the pineapple. Randy K said it's the brain and the pineapple right side up cake for me, though. So I'm actually making her a cake for her birthday. And I only do that for my peoples. And because you were actually blessed with a cake, brother. So, yeah. I make cakes for my people, yo. Like I said, you know what I mean? Like, I do that. Like, I don't know. I'm weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't kick it with everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
But you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that to fucking.
They be mad, bro.
Yourself
They be mad, man.
look a certain way.
Big
I don't
mad.
have to fucking hang out with you if I don't fucking want. I mean,
You only got so much
God
time.
damn, bro.
It's people
like,
literally that will tell me they don't want to do business with me until we can be friends. Like, that was really a thing. And I'm just like, I didn't come here for friends.
Why?
I did not come here for friends. I did not. Like, that's not why I got into this business. Keyword business. Friends are an emotion. You know what I mean? Friends are fun. Friends are love. You know what I mean? Friends are venting. All of those things have emotions attached to them. I didn't come here for that. You know what I mean? If I acquire some while I'm here, that's amazing. But I didn't come here for that. I came here to do this, help these people, so I can take care of my people. That's why I'm here. And I'm never gonna, like, sugarcoat that or be like, oh no, everything I do is for blah 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 blah. Nah. I do this to help these people so I can help my people. So everybody fucking wins. You know what I mean? And if that means I get to hire an influencer to do this, or if that means I use this graphic designer for new packaging, if I use this local printer for labels, you know what I mean? Like, I'm helping people while I help my people.
I mean, you're giving back to the community and still helping your people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking smart. Why would you fucking hate that? Fuck.
People don't know what they hate most of the time, though.
Yep.
They really don't. They don't know what they hate most of the time. Because if they knew and they really, like, looked at it from that perspective, they would see how big of a dickhead they are. You know what I mean? You're hating somebody that helps a mother who who has a child that has autism that, you know, it's just crazy, and now this kid is verbal. You're helping someone who's a quadriplegic that, you know, is fed through a tube be able to have pain-free sleep, and allowing their parents that have taken care of him for 34 years to actually have relief too. You're hating on that shit. You're hating on trying to help epileptic children. You're hating on people trying to help people with fibromyalgia. You're hating on this shit. Like, really? You're a dickhead. You know what I mean?
No other way to call it.
No other way to call it, you know?
Hell
But
yeah.
got a lot of cool stuff, you know.
Ian said he needs a 420
on the horizon, you know.
Bro, y'all illegal, man. that cake was bomb, bro. I'm gonna tell you.
Got a lot of cool stuff, you know. Got some. That's another thing. Like, you know, the Chronic put out an article or feature, and you know, the headline was, you know, Mr. Mack's built to go nationwide, right?
Yeah.
And people in my circle, you know, where we moving into and what that timeline is like, and all of that kind of stuff. But like, they knew about that after it was what it was. You know what I mean? It wasn't a hope and a dream. It's like, I'm showing you how to get that dream, but you're gonna struggle along the way. So you got to be willing to hold on and get that. And they just, I don't know. Like I said, I'll see y'all at the finish line, but everybody finish line ain't in the same place.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
your race may be coming to an end, but you know, I got a little ways to go.
Where's your finish line?
Yeah. We say Randy K is speaking loud, and proud right now. What should say? We could mail in a cat. Oh, I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah. He said I was born on 420. Hell yeah.
I don't know nothing
That's
about
fine.
that.
Well,
I
shit,
had a
we
kid
gonna,
that was born at 420, so you know it's live.
We were married on 420.
It's our anniversary.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
They ain't got no
That
mad
shit.
cakes in the UK. Hey, but we
Maybe
gonna
one
try.
day.
So
day.
One day.
So, I will let this one out the bag a little bit, because this is an international play. Eric was like, bro, we need to just do it. I'm like, we need to just do what? He was like, we need to just do it and put the caramel out as like a candy. And we can launch it internationally and blah, blah, blah. And when he goes on something, it tells me that he didn't put some thought into it. Because we the type that I'm not going to bring nothing to him if it's some bullshit, and he ain't going to bring nothing to me if it's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, because we'll shoot it down, and then we be feeling like, damn, why you shoot my shit down like that? But, like, so yeah, I mean, we even, you know, branching into just traditional confections and really doing like a candy caramel, like non-infused. So we'll have a THC, a CBD, and just a regular, you know, store-bought product.
That's cool.
Yeah, looking at starting that internationally and then bringing it stateside. So, like,
That's cool.
I got, like I said, I do not think small. Like, y'all can be small-minded if y'all want to. I did not start this shit to be no mom and pop. Like, no. I started as a mom and pop, but we did not build this
That
to
wasn't
be
the vision.
a mom and pop.
That wasn't
Right,
the vision.
right.
That wasn't the vision.
Like, every country I go to, I'm trying to see one of our products. So you know what I mean? If I'm in America, it's Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in Mexico, it's Supermercado.
Yes.
If I'm in Italy, it's Vio. But at the end of the day, it's all Walmart.
That's all Walmart.
And I'm trying to be the same fucking way. Like, everywhere I go, I'm trying to help people with what we got going on. Yeah. Get my dad right.
But shit, we're gonna jump up off of
Get my
here.
dad right. I appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you for coming on, dude. This is so cool. And then fucking Christmas is a few days away. We're gonna try and do a live on Wednesday, but
I got one thing for you before I get out. Well,
Oh,
for them before we get out here, but I gotta get my dab, so you keep doing your thing real quick.
So yeah, we're gonna definitely try and do a show on Wednesday. Again, I want to shout out to our sponsors, Jiffy Doctor, the home of the $49 recommendation. It's 2 for $1 for the rest of December. Also, veterans and pediatric patients are free for the month of December. Also, our other sponsor, Tulsa Cannon Tours, Kay is so sweet. She definitely props because the camera, the tripod, the lights, all this stuff is definitely from her. So love you, lady, me for sure. Remember, if you go by the Green Room in OKC, 10% off if you mention Hello Vibes. If you're in Lawton, Gangsters of Glass and Med Dispensary will get you 10% off if you mention Hello Vibes.
Do it.
What was the
Do it. You do that.
I wasn't even
Oh
listening.
yeah, Tina.
I was
Backwoods.
reading. I'm sorry.
Backwoods.
I wasn't paying attention.
10% off. Hinton. Damn. Yep. I'm making motherfucking cards.
You're
for all
making
kinds
a
of
list.
shit.
Yep.
I
you
told
are.
you. Yo, it is the fucking planetary conjunction tonight. So it's when Jupiter and Saturn align. It's not a perfect alignment. It will never be a perfect alignment. And that's what people think, but it's not. It's off by 1 degree. So get your astronomy game up. But it happens every 40 years, but it's usually in the daytime. So people don't get to see it. It happens every 800 or so years at night. And this is a super, super special night. So all of my crystal collectors, all my rock hounds, all of my spiritual people, make sure y'all put y'all stuff out tonight. Let it charge up with that good charge. Center yourself. And hopefully I'll be seeing y'all on somebody's podcast in the new year. Maybe even my own.
Oh shit. Guys, love you. Thank you guys for joining us. Stay medicated.
Peace.
Vibes, we always elevated. It's hollow vibes. Catch me rolling on vibes with my hollow vibes. Hollow vibes. Check hollow vibes. Yeah. My name is DJ Navi. This is High-Low Vibes. Yeah. You have never seen it like this before. Never. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, hey. We always medicated. It's High-Low Vibes. We always elevated. It's High-Low Vibes. Catch me rolling on vibes with my High-Low Vibes. High-Low Vibes. Check High-Low Vibes. Yeah. My name is DJ Navi. This is High-Low Vibes. Yeah. You have never seen it like this before. Never. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, hey. We always medicated. It's High-Low Vibes.